Hello.
And welcome to Storytime with Charles. Storytime with Charles. Just kidding, we weren't 5 minutes late.
Yeah, look at that.
We weren't 5 minutes late. Charles came in like 5 minutes ago, and I'm like, let me give Charles a little buffer, give him a little breather, but
We're jumping right in.
Charles I don't. Can I tell you also something that made me extremely excited? So first off, Charles and I are wearing the same shirt today.
We are.
What made me extra excited is, so is Ben. Ben's not even on the stream, and he saw me in the hall, he's like, hey, Eric, nice shirt. I'm like, oh, you're wearing the same shirt as me and Charles.
We just automatically do it every Thursday without even...
It just happens.
It doesn't even matter. You know what else? I've seen so many other people in that shirt today. I feel like there's a good energy.
It was just it was a group effort of, hey, let's all just wear the same shirt today. All right, so let's just dive right in, Charles.
Yeah,
let's dive right in. We got a lot to go through today and a lot to go over.
Also, we are going to have to be sure we end on time because I've got one of those washing machines that explodes. So I've got to get home in time for the technician to come stop that from happening.
I forgot about that. We're gonna get you home, Charles. Don't worry.
Before my washing machine explodes.
So here's the quick and dirty of how we're gonna go through today. We're gonna do our usual start off with community topics, remind you of some of the subscriber awards we have going on. We're gonna show you the Rule of the Galaxy trailer if you haven't seen it, which we released yesterday, because there was a lot of story questions that came out of that.
So seeing lots of good theories and ideas coming at me on Twitter, which was really cool.
Yep. The story of Eternal Throne. Just so you know, we're not really going to spoil too much for you.
Yeah.
But I will say, to our next bullet, New Planets, we're probably going to talk a lot of spoilery stuff as it relates to Fallen Empire. Mm-hmm. Eternal Throne, there won't be a ton, but be aware we are going to talk about a little bit about the 2 new planets, which will be a little spoilery.
Yeah, it will be non-zero spoiler, but not too far above zero.
Correct. And then just a reminder of what the remainder of our stream and blog plan is. As a note, I just want to put it out there that if at any point throughout the entire stream you guys have story questions, please feel free to let us know. I will be sure to jump in to Charles and be like, Charles, question.
While I'm rambling on and on, I'll be sure to get something relevant in there for you.
I told him I would do my best to not interrupt thoughts, but as you have story questions, be sure to let us know. But let's jump into the community topics first. So, first one, Charles, because it's a story stream, we know this question is going to come up quite a bit.
Yeah.
Insert my favorite companion who hasn't come back yet. Where are they? When am I getting them back?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this on one of the other streams. I think it was just a question that came out of chat at the end. So I think a lot of people missed it because I've definitely been seeing this question around a lot more. There's not really as many or really any of the returning companions with Knights of the Eternal Throne with these chapters. And I know that's sad news because it made me very personally deeply sad because I really, really love the companions. I spent years of my life writing companions for the story. They're some of my favorite characters, some of my favorite work that I've ever done, and seeing all the work that the other writers did too. It's something that's really deep in my heart, and I know everyone else on the team too. Honestly, I get this question from members of our own team just about as often as I get it
that is correct.
Online. But so the reason for that is I think we really looked at the player feedback from Fallen Empire, from all the chapters that we did last year, especially the month-to-month chapters, and it really felt like one of the key points that kept coming up was people felt like they weren't getting enough closure, they weren't getting enough progress in the main storyline. It felt kind of dragged out to some people, and I felt like that was actually a very fair criticism. We try to be as critical of ourselves as we can be, just as much as y'all are. And I felt like part of the reason for that was that I was really trying to get as many of the old companions back as I could. Right. I feel like, we really needed to spend a lot of time on each one to reintroduce them, introduce them to people who didn't have them before, bring them in, so that now like a Sith warrior can get Jorgen and a trooper can get Cleo and stuff like that.
Right.
So it was really important to me to do those really well, but that ultimately meant that we spent a lot of time on them and not so much time resolving this huge giant new plot that we had just brought, into being with Fallen Empire, dealing with Ark and Valen, Valkorion. And all that. So it really kind of ultimately, I think, ended up being a disservice to the story and made it feel too drawn out. And just it could, I think that was one area where we could improve. And
it's funny, there was just a question in chat, which is, why was Fallen Empire story feel a little dull, like there was a bunch of filler chapters?
Right. Very much not the intent, because we love those companions. I know y'all love the companions, but of course, everyone mainly loves a particular group of companions, so maybe it works for some and doesn't work for others. And I think that was ultimately the result, right, was that it ended up feeling like filler, even though it was stuff that we were super passionate about, and I know lots of fans really are passionate about. It just kind of dragged it out a little too far, and that ultimately don't want to do that. We want to improve as much as we can. So for this 9 chapters with Knights of the Eternal Throne, we wanted to make the core story the central focus. We really wanted to nail out, really give you all the resolution you want, really going to give you the choices and impacts and consequences that you want.
Yep.
And in order to do that kind of stuff, we had to kind of make some adjustments and pull out some other stuff. And unfortunately, in this case, it was some of the returning companions that we had hoped to do. So that's just the result. Unfortunately, it doesn't make any of us really excited, but I think ultimately it's a better story for it. Y'all can let us know what you think when you try it out, starting November 29th.
Yep. And that's not to say they're never coming back.
Oh, absolutely. So my love of them and the entire team's pressure on me to do them, and everyone, we all really want to bring every companion back, and it's maybe really impossible because there's quite a few of them, and again, it's important to us to do it well. Like, I would hate for you to just walk around a corner and it was like, oh, hey, Kira, and Kira's like, hey, and then you're like, okay, moving on. Like, no one wants that.
Sure.
So we really want to.
I'm waiting for Kira to start spamming chat now from that.
We all want to do justice by those characters. We want their return to be meaningful. We want to pay off, especially romances, and really pay off what have those characters been doing for these 5 years. What has it meant for you to have been gone all this time, for you to return and become this commander of this alliance, to be working with the other faction. There's so much there to explore, and these are such cool, deep characters that we want to do justice by them. And so that unfortunately means dragging it out a little, and I'm sorry for that. I take full responsibility for it. But I think
look, there's the Kira spam.
Check out the chapters when they come out and let me know what you think.
The Kira spam has arrived. Okay, so the other thing that we wanted to touch on quick before we get into all the other stuff is last week when we had Bad Feeling on, we wanted to show you guys opening of some command crates, but they didn't get enough. They didn't get enough command XP because whatever, doesn't matter. And my dev commands, my cheats weren't working to give them the command XP so they could do it. So we're gonna do it really quick right now. Only gonna spend like 2 or 3 minutes on it, but I do want to show you guys a quick command crate opening. So let me switch over to the game real fast town. Give me a second to move some stuff around real quick like. Okay, so let me put some sound on so you guys can hear. Hopefully the game sound is working. Okay, so I've already opened one crate, just so you guys could see what it would look like with something already in the stash. This is your command stash, which I will show you when you're in Galactic Command, which I'm command rank 93, by the way. I don't know how much that matters to you guys for relevance. You can access your command stash by clicking here or by opening a crate. I've already opened a crate, and I'll show you disintegrating in a second just so you can see that. These are all consumables. You can see we had mentioned, I think we had mentioned this before, but if not, there are some things you do in the game, such as killing Dark First Light bosses,
right.
Operations bosses,
right.
That will give you consumables that grant you big buckets of command experience points.
Exactly.
This is an example. I've cheated to get a bunch of them just so I can show you the experience. So I'm gonna use a couple of these guys right here. Let's go for 3 crates. So
look at that.
I got 3 crates. As you can see, they appear in your inventory, and then they're also simultaneously inside of your command stash as well.
How many did you open? Was that 5 or 6?
I think I would 4.
4.
You can watch the bar at the bottom. You can watch when I use one. Like, whoop, it flies.
Pretty substantial.
Yeah. So those of you guys who do the super hard content like Operations and Dark First Light world bosses, I guess you'll be moving along. Don't worry.
Obviously, we're still tweaking these numbers, but
yeah. I should note this is on our closed test server, which is actually a little bit older than even the current stuff. So there may be a few things, as always, that are subject to change from what you see now. But
yeah, give you a good example.
Yeah. I love how much everyone's yelling at me for cheating. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Thank you. Which just I have to point out,
they're just keeping us honest, man.
They are. I appreciate the honesty. As you saw last time when I play legit, it doesn't go very well. So okay, so let's open this crate right here. See what we get. As you can see, I got schematic, I got belt that I can wear, and you get one of the things that we've added, I believe this is still in as well, is the ability to get some of the other older reputations. Can also come out of here, so you can either sell these or if you're like me who loves reputation, you can get them, and then of course you get some cosmetic items as well.
Nice.
You will notice that all this is going to look like not an upgrade in gear. It's because I'm literally wearing the best gear in the game because it cheated some more. So just as a note,
he's just such a hardcore cheater. You don't even know.
Don't be surprised. I'm in tier 2, but there's still a downgrade. So got myself an implant.
Nice.
Another companion gift. Again, another cosmetic item and another schematic. And we'll open our last crate. See what we get here. Got a blaster rifle and another
droid parts. Nice.
Droid parts and another cosmetic piece.
Nice. Then there's purple. You got a device.
Yep.
Schematic. Sorry.
Yep. And then just to show you, I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to select everything, and you can see it also highlights exactly how many command XP you're going to get from that. But the nice thing is, like, I'm pretty decently high in command rank. Like, I'm almost near command rank 100, and if I disintegrate all that stuff, I'm like, nope, don't need it. Either let's say I already have, a belt, I already have a chest piece or whatever I may have gotten. Don't worry about the schematics. Boop, I can disintegrate it. It's going to ask me, and now I've gotten a third, a quarter of a level just from that right there. So that's the basics of the command crate action, just to give you guys a quick opening of it, of what it looks like. And then let me reset my my stuff so I can go through everything else. Like I said, if you guys have any brief questions about that, feel free to throw them in there, but that's the basics. And just as a reminder, when you're looking at it, I was in the best gear in the game, so none of it looks like upgrades, whereas theoretically, especially since those were Tier 2 crates, I would have been moving out of Tier 1 into Tier 2. So even the green items would have been an upgrade, most likely, from what I was wearing before. Just as a note, the goal is, as you're moving through the tiers, that everything is kind of an upgrade. So, all right.
I've seen one question come up a whole bunch, perhaps from the same person. Can we get Tora as a companion? There's no plans right now to give Tora as a companion, but let me know if that's something that would interest other people. Maybe type Tora into chat if you're interested in getting Tora as a companion real quick.
I just broke everything, but it's because I was...
Good God!
I was closing the game. I was closing the game. Hopefully the stream is going crazy right now. Let me make sure that you guys can still see the stream okay. Because my connection just looked like it dove for a second there. But it's recovering now. So hopefully that's a little calmer. Okay. So... let's move on.
Ooh.
Just as a quick reminder of the promotions that are going on. Oh, Charles.
There might be some love for Tora.
I think people want Tora as a companion. I kind of feel like that's what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We'll take it.
Wow.
Take that back.
Wow. I want you to know I'm really tempted to be like, type Kazaiken if you want Kazaiken. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want to break chat. Anyway, as a reminder for the subscriber rewards we have going on, if you are a subscriber on November 27th, which is it's only 10 days away, guys. 10 days away. You will get the Rapid Recon Walker when Knights of the Eternal Throne goes live. And if you were a subscriber back on October 25th and you stay a subscriber through the 27th and are a subscriber for launch or for early access day on the 29th, you will have early access going into 3 days of early access for Knights of the Eternal Throne. All right.
Ooh.
It's time for look. The Kazaikens are starting. I told you guys not to do it. Told you not to do it, but that's okay.
They don't live for your rules.
That's right. I guess they do. That is the story of my life. Okay, Charles, Scavenger Pack.
Yes.
What are you feeling?
I'm sticking with my old chestnut, Sinya Toral's lightsaber.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I love it. I think it's awesome.
I gotta go with the Locust. I can't ever say no to a mount.
It's got some sleek lines.
It does. It really does.
Annoying.
So, what should we use as the? We used Ben last week because he wasn't here.
We did.
So what should we use this week?
Well, we've got good old Tate, I think.
Yeah,
helping us out today.
We could do Tate.
Yeah.
So we'll do the keyword for the raffle is Tate, which if you don't know how to spell it, it is T-A-I-T. So please type Tate into chat, and Tate will do a raffle for the 5 winners, and he'll let us know when he's pulled the winners. But again, so type T-A-I-T, Tate into chat, and you'll be entered for a raffle. If you are one of the 5 winners in honor of the 5-year anniversary, you'll get to pick one of these 3 items, which we will then deliver to you. So for the sake of time, since Charles has an exploding washer, I'm going to move on, and Tate can let us know who the winners are a little bit later.
Cool.
So, if you haven't seen it yesterday, again, we revealed the Rule the Galaxy trailer, which had some really cool little tidbits of stuff in it that a lot of people pulled out.
A lot of little bits there.
I would say, why don't we go take a trip over and watch that trailer real quick, and then after that, we'll come back and I can start talking about some of the story stuff.
Yeah.
So let me get the sound turned up to make sure that you guys can hear it. I'm going to make our faces disappear. Ooh, my face is gone. And let's watch the trailer, and we'll be right.
You are no ordinary leader. You are the Alliance commander, champion of fear, and conqueror of my every challenge. There is only one way to end this chaos and bring order to the galaxy. Claim the Eternal Throne and seize your destiny.
So put the mic back on.
There we go.
Also, put the mic back on so you can hear us. Anyway, so is there anything you want to say about the trailer before we kind of start moving into stuff?
I've seen some people pick up some interesting details out of it, but there's one shot in there, and it went by so fast that even I couldn't tell for sure, but there's one shot in there where you're in the throne room, there's a bunch of people laying on the ground. I'm surprised no one's really nitpicked who's on the ground there to give me a hard time yet, but, not saying that I don't want to say any more about it necessarily, but there might be some stuff happening in there.
This guy. So, before I move on to the next slide, there's something very, very, very important. It's probably the most important part of this entire stream, is that I feel like this live stream really, besides being story time with Charles, is more of a fireside chat with Charles.
Oh.
So, in honor of that,
yeah,
I think we should have ourselves a little fire in the background.
So classy now.
Yeah, I'm really classing the place up.
We should have brought our pipes.
We need some pipes, some glasses of wine, perhaps, a fedora. Anyway, so
Nice
there's also a
Cavassier.
lot of fire on the screen as well. There's a lot of fire going on right now. Okay, so Charles, we've seen this. We've seen the trailer. Why don't you talk a little bit about the story itself of Eternal Throne?
Yeah, so just kind of catching up from Fallen Empire, you know, where we left off there, the player character, the Outlander, has become the commander of the Alliance, you know, this powerful group, or increasingly powerful group, dedicated to overthrowing the Eternal Empire, which is now ruled by Valen, was previously ruled by Arkan, and before that, Valkorion. You know, you're really starting to gain some strength by defeating Arkan and his forces at Odessen. That really kind of sent a message to the galaxy that your force was someone to be contended, that not to be someone who could contend with the Eternal Empire and fight them toe to toe, which was a really huge, meaningful thing. You know, before that, for years, neither the Republic nor the Empire ever accomplished something quite like that. It was mostly a losing battle for them. So. A whole bunch of forces are, you know, kind of flocking to your banner, hoping to kind of join up, to looking for the chance to get the wins that they always wanted, to kind of take back the galaxy from the Eternal Empire, which is definitely raising your stock as the commander across the galaxy, and also maybe raising some fears among the other factions, among the Republic and the Empire, kind of wondering where you're going to go from there. What are you going to do with all of these people that are leaving their own sides to come help you out? It's kind of a tenuous situation. No one wants to start a fight over it because everyone wants to stop the Eternal Empire, but it's raising some hackles, and that's going to lead to some interesting places in Eternal Throne. Like I mentioned, Valen has now become the Eternal Empress. She's taken the throne. She's in charge.
By the way, this is the spoiler section.
Yes.
We've now entered the fire signified spoiler time. Just as a note. Carry on, Charles.
So, you know, now Valen is ruling the Eternal Empire. She's in charge. She's got Scorpio at her side as her sort of advisor, but of course we all know Scorpio, not necessarily the most reliable character. So it's going to be up to y'all to find out when the chapters come out whether whose side she's really on at the end of the day. We really wanted to focus on Valen. You know, obviously she was sort of at the core of our cinematic trailer this year, Betrayed. We really wanted to show a lot of that backstory for her so that you would kind of come into this expansion and appreciating where she came from and, you know, how it is that she became who she is, because her backstory and her time in that sort of imprisoned training area with under Valkorion is going to come up and be a really key part of the storyline this year. So, you know, look forward to some details coming out of that. Senya and Arkan, of course, on the run after the events of Chapter 16 of Fallen Empire. You know, Senya is, you know, desperate to save her son. She feels like he's got a chance to come back to the light side, a chance to become the man that she always hoped he would. You know, he's badly injured, mostly thanks to you, also some falling wreckage. May have played a role in that, but it's going to be, you know, her main mission is getting him healed, getting him tended, and, you know, both physically but also spiritually, you know, morally, trying to kind of help him redeem himself in some way. And I don't want to go into really any detail on that, but ultimately both of their fates are going to be entirely up to the decisions you make in this expansion and where you choose to go, how you choose to proceed as you deal with those two characters. They can end up in very, very different places depending on the choices you make.
I think it would be fair to say that in Eternal Throne, there are some choices that you make that will have some very serious consequences one way or another when you make them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not being specific to them, but in general, I think this might be our deadliest expansion pack that we've ever done. There's quite a few characters that you can kill off. Again, I'm not raising it here for any particular reason.
I want to ask if you can kill Koth, because you know my love of Koth, but I won't. I won't ask that question.
You can kill a whole lot of people.
I won't ask
you
that
can kill a whole lot of people in this expansion.
One of the questions I saw a little bit ago is, are we going to get involved at all with the Republic and the Empire, especially like the Puppet Master leading the Republic was part of the question that they asked. Are we going to get involved with some of those factions again?
Yeah, you absolutely will. I don't want to say it's like the main thrust of the story, but it's absolutely going to be a key factor. Like I mentioned, it's this kind of rising ambiguity, this rising distrust of the commander and where you're going to be going. You know, everyone sees you as their one hope to defeat the Eternal Empire, but what's going to happen after that? You know, what's your role going to be in the galaxy, and what does that mean for the Republic and the Empire when it happens? You're going to be very concerned about that for obvious reasons, and each faction is going to make their own kind of moves to get ahead of that as you go through the storyline. And, you know, might not be surprised to learn that the Republic and the Empire act in very different ways to resolve that.
That they do.
That fear.
Speaking of surprise, something we forgot to mention.
Oh, yeah.
Is that for those of you, especially those of you who are story lovers specifically, stay tuned to the end of the stream because we have a surprise for you.
Yeah, it's something really, really cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait for y'all to see it.
So you only got about 10 more minutes. 10,
Yeah.
15 more minutes, and we'll tell you what it is. But I forgot to preface that. There's a surprise.
It's gonna be great.
There's a surprise coming that I forgot about.
Koth rules. There we go. See, we found someone.
Ban them from chat, please. ban them from chat.
A Darth Valron lover. I love Darth Valron. He will not be making an appearance this time, but he is definitely one of my favorite characters that we've ever done in the Old Republic. I love the kind of non-traditional Sith, as you could probably guess from Lana, but I feel like Valron as well is just he's such a different kind of take on that notion of what a Sith could be. That he's such a fun character. So.
One of the things that I'm enjoying is ever since, I'm going to be a little spoilery to the trailer thing from before, I'm guessing, is that you said you're surprised you didn't get more questions about the trailer and a specific person that's laying there, and someone just yelled, please answer our questions about Theron, because I think people
I hadn't seen any questions about that.
Oh, there's been a lot of people being like, wait, what? Is that Theron that's there? What happened? Don't take him away from me. Not saying that's who's there.
All I said was, I'm surprised I didn't get questions about it. I didn't actually say I'd answer them. Sorry.
This guy's a jerk.
Now I'm just stirring up the hornet's nest.
I'm going to take away his fireplace.
Of course. No, not my fireplace. I can't talk without a fireplace. And of course, Valkorion still going to be playing a major role in the story. You're going to be learning a little bit more about how he came to become Valkorion. What his background was as Vitiate, seeing even further into his backstory, perhaps in a few areas, and how that all ties into the Eternal Throne and his plans for it. And his plans ultimately for you, the Outlander, the kinds of things that he was, had going on right from the first chapter. I remember seeing someone asking, maybe it was on Reddit, they were saying, hey, what was his plan when he asked me to bow, and if I did choose to do that, what was he going to do? I think by the end of this story, you will know what he had in mind all the way back then, because it's may or may not be what he's still trying to do to this minute. Yeah.
Very interesting. So to go right to the wire.
Yeah, right down to the line. Let's see. Maybe take a minute, see if we got some more questions that we wanted to get into.
Yeah. One of the things that I saw earlier is, are we going to incorporate classes at all into just like differences in how the classes react and that type of stuff into Eternal Throne?
Yeah, as always, it's always a goal of ours to make sure that each class still has lines and moments and interactions with different characters that feel appropriate to that class specifically. If it's someone that you knew from the past, you're going to have a different reaction. Different characters just tend to talk different ways. Great example being the Smuggler. I know one of Eric's favorites tends to be a little sassier than others. It's you always try to bring that personality in, and we're definitely not going to stop with that. Another actually really cool thing, because I know I've seen a lot of people asking about it. Some of the Alliance characters and things like Star Fortress may want to be doing some of that stuff. I'm not going to say it's coming in a huge way, but you've seen in previous trailers and even in the trailer we showed today, someone I saw noting it, Voss is going to be a planet that you'll be visiting. It's actually the first planet you'll be going to in the expansion, and so might be valuable to complete that Voss Star Fortress. Might play a little part in the storyline, and have a neat little result if you do that. And yeah, just some cool little throwbacks in there as well. So keep your eyes open.
I'll start moving on, but very important question that I've seen multiple times now in chat is, will there ever be a Musco companion? I'm serious. I've seen it a whole bunch of times.
I mean, Kai Zyken was pretty heavily based on Musco, but
clearly
that's not actually true.
That is not true.
No, Musco's actually a useful person at his job. He is actually good at the things he does.
Kai Zyken seems pretty solid. Anyway, it's on the screen now.
Yeah, 2 new planets.
So how about we talk a little bit about the 2 new planets that we got?
Yeah, so I'm really, really excited about these. Iokath is a totally new creation. It's something totally new to the Star Wars galaxy. Something we got to make from scratch, which is, of course, always a lot of fun. And hopefully y'all find it just as fun as we do. A chance to explore something new and different in the Star Wars universe. So you can kind of see from the shots, and we'll be seeing some more in a minute. Actually, I'll wait to get into the details. But
yeah.
So Iokath, you can see it's actually an entirely mechanical world. It's entirely artificially constructed. It's actually a Dyson sphere, if you know what that is. It's sort of an inside-out planet built around a star and various other astral bodies. It's some very cool stuff going on there. We'll get into that. Also, Nathma. This is one that lots of folks will have actually heard of. This is the birthplace of Tenebrae, who became known as Vitiate, who became known as Valkorion. It's a planet that he harvested all life from at one point to earn his initial, ultimate power. So we're going to be going back to that world as part of this storyline as well. You may or may not. This is a spoiler, so earmuffs for a minute. This is actually the planet that we saw in the Betrayed cinematic, where Valen underwent her difficult time under Valkorion's cruel tutelage. So we're going to be going to experience a little bit of that in the story as well. It's a very cool world, very creepy and atmospheric. I'm excited for y'all to check it out.
Yeah. So why don't we so now what we'll do is we'll kind of break it out. We'll take a look at Iocath. We have a bunch of screenshots of both of these planets, so we'll just kind of flip through some screenshots and let Charles kind of talk a little bit about Iocath. So this is a bigger version of the same shot you were already looking at before.
Yeah. So you can see there's all these cool pieces of this junk and materials and factories all orbiting it in this ring. Again, Iocath, a completely artificial world. We're going to be going there. You can see the Eternal Fleet. That might be a little hint about what's involved with this world, how it ties into the story. But you're going to be learning a lot of interesting secrets about the Eternal Fleet, Gravestone, Scorpio even, learning a bit more about their history, where they came from, what the deal was, how they're so powerful, and really getting to explore a cool, unique new environment in the Old Republic, something that's very new for us.
Question that I saw is there a new Dark Council as it relates to Darth Acina, and will we find out about that?
So I don't think we actually go into that too much, but to my mind, if I were Darth Acina, I would not build a new Dark Council, having come from the Dark Council where everyone killed each other all the time. If I were Acina, would probably banish it and just say that I'm the Empress and everyone else is on their own. So let's go with that. Here we see us actually emerging into the inside area of the interior of Iocath. You start to get a sense of the scale of this place. This is, I think, the most massive environmental structure, place that we've ever been in the Old Republic in terms of just the scope of it when you're looking up and seeing how huge this world is and ultimately, the technology and the power of the people who created it.
One of the questions I've seen about both of these planets, just a general question, is are these questions going to be like a Tatooine, where you just land on the planet and then you're just running around all over the planet, or are they more like some of the other planets that are more story-focused, where there's specific areas you're running through on the planets?
Yeah, since these are parts of the chapters, they're the more story-focused, they're more direct, but it's something that we're really interested in expanding on. I think both of these planets would make great open-world areas or daily areas maybe in the future. I think that would be pretty cool. So if y'all check them out and you agree, let us know, because I would love to do that. I'd love to expand them out like that and let you explore them more freely.
This question, can we make Koth dig his own grave on Ziost and bury him alive to make him think about his beloved Eternal Emperor? Well, you win the day. You win the prize. You win the prize of the day for the best question.
Yep.
I don't think there's really an answer. I don't think there's really an answer for that question.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't like Koth. You win. You win. This is just
another cool part of Iocath, the Green Garden. There are various kind of biomes set up on Iocath with environments from various worlds, kind of reproducing them in this sort of artificial environment. It kind of gives it a neat variety. Here you can see some of the sort of automated stuff going on here. This star at the center of the Dyson sphere. Yep. Some of the other, it's a very cool environment. Lots of pieces and stuff moving around all the time.
Yep.
I'm just really excited for y'all to check it out when you get into it, and then ultimately see some of the cool story beats that come along with it.
An actual Koth question: what will happen for dark side players who Koth stole Gravestone?
Well,
this is one of those we'll have to wait and see, right?
You will have your revenge. We'll put it that way and leave it there.
My heart.
If Koth has upset you, he will not go unpunished, unless you choose for that to be the case.
Guys, if you've gone this far with Koth, come on.
Anathema. All right. So yeah, like I mentioned, this is actually the original homeworld of Valkorion. It was where he was born. It's a dead world. There's basically no life on the surface. All life was annihilated there, more than 1,000 years ago. So, a little stuff can survive there now, but it's a really terrifying, awful place to be.
Shad is really excited by being able to take revenge on Koth. I just want to put that out there.
So it's essentially a very bad world where God, I'm really sorry. I'm distracted by chat now. I lost my train of thought completely. Yeah. No, so because of what Valkorion did to this world, it's very horrifying place to go, especially as a Force user. You can just feel the how it's off, how it's just not natural, it's not right, and it's very disturbing to anyone who visits there, which is again a big reason why Valen didn't really enjoy her time on that world and as a child.
I feel like that would be an accurate description of her time there.
But you know, some endeavoring individuals working for Valkorion have been living there in a temple, have been undergoing various research and experiments, which might lead to some cool new creatures like these that you could encounter as part of it.
One of the Nathema questions is, I'm a Force user. Can I even use the Force when I'm on Nathema?
You can, but it's you'll see through the story. There's a lot of impact on the various Force using characters, and it's essentially a psychological impact. It's been long enough now that you can use the Force there, perhaps through the actual machinations of Valkorion himself, but it's not a great place to be.
And a great question is this the planet from the Revan books?
It is, yes. This is, in fact, exactly the world that they went to in the Revan books. We were really excited to bring it to life in the actual game, give it some visuals to kind of tie into Drew's great writing. Of course, Drew Karpyshyn, a part of our writing team for this expansion.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all there. Get the chance to share it with y'all. It's really cool to bring that kind of stuff to life.
That's right.
Yeah.
So based on this art, I'm guessing we're going to see some messed up creatures. When you're
there's
on
some
that
very
boat.
unpleasant creatures now living there. Some of which may have come from the planet originally and have been preserved separately. But you know, this is a Vorclaw. He's a real nasty character. Yeah. This is just one of our concept shots. This is an earlier one, so it's fairly accurate, but there's a few differences when you get there you'll kind of see. But you know, I think it really gets at the mood that you feel when you're on this planet. It's just very desolate, feels very dead, very unwelcoming.
All right, so
you want to take maybe a few more questions?
Yeah.
See if we got...
So just as I'll recap some of this, and again, if you guys have story questions, please definitely keep them coming. Have the Sith managed to rebuild Korriban after Zakul wrecked it, or at least partially?
Yeah, I think after that they would have gotten it rebuilt, at least somewhat. You know, as a result of that, it's still being used as a training ground. It's still, you know, kind of back to what it would have been before. They definitely, you know, the Sith would never abandon Korriban forever. You know, we saw in the Return trailer back in the day, you know, it was something that's so powerful to them, so important to them and their history that they would never give up on it.
Can we romance Arkin?
So like I mentioned, you're going to be making some big choices around Arkin, and his ultimate fate is really going to be entirely up to you as a player. Can you romance him? Not in this expansion, but I'm not going to rule it out as an eventual possibility. I don't know. Y'all let us know if that's something you'd be into. There was some debate amongst our team as to whether he has kissable lips under that mask. Not gonna lie, that was a discussion that was had. So it's definitely been on our minds as well. But yeah, let us know if that would float your boat.
I think that is a fantastic question that I could not even imagine asking.
What was the role of Lucasfilm in the making of Code? So Lucasfilm is actually deeply involved in everything we do on Star Wars: The Old Republic. Their story group reviews all of our storylines, all of the characters we do, the cinematics we make, like Betrayed. They were, you know, worked very closely with us to create those. You know, ultimately we kind of create the initial ideas, we send them over and say, hey, what do y'all think? And then they kind of give us their feedback, and you know, by and large, it's always very supportive.
That was actually a question.
Encouraging.
How involved was?
Yeah, they're very deeply involved. You know, we're really fortunate to have their time because they are, of course, the experts on Star Wars. Of course, our team.
I've heard they know a thing or two about Star
a thing
Wars.
or two. And you know, but of course, we're all very passionate about it, so we make a really strong effort to make our stuff fit very well from the beginning. So I think it's a really great opportunity that we get to do that.
Speaking of kissable lips, the questions have now gone. What about Valen? What about Valkorion? What about Senya? Can I romance any of the family members? Seems to be a general question. I feel like Valen. I feel like the best way to answer that question is directly from Natasha Loring, right? Yeah. Who's the voice actress for Valen. She said Valen would eat you alive. That was her answer to that question in New York, and I feel like that's probably just the best.
Yeah, you might think you want to romance Valen, you don't want to romance Valen.
Is there any time that passes between Kotfi and Kotet?
Yeah, I think it's you know, we like to generally have it reflect the time that's passing in real life between expansions. So I'd say it's, you know, probably about 6 or 8 months. You know, in this case it's a little shorter than that because Chapter 16 came out in August. But you know, it's been a few months, but not a substantial portion of time.
Okay. Do you want to start a little bit of recap, and then I got like 1 or 2 more button presses, and you guys get to the surprise. So.
Ooh, yeah. So yeah, we talked a little bit about the Alliance. It's now become a much more powerful group thanks to your victory over Arkan. A lot of forces joining up from both the Republic and the Empire, which is making both of those factions a little uneasy.
Can I romance the gravestone?
That would be the best thing I think we'd ever done.
Boomy, that's a good question.
All right, taking that note back to the writers immediately. Talked a little about Valkorian's family, what their current situations are, how they got to be where they are, why it's important that we showed Valen's backstory in particular, because it's going to be really key to the story this year. 2 new planets, Iokath, an artificial construct, a Dyson sphere. It's tied deeply into the backstory of the Eternal Throne, the Gravestone, and all of the technology of the Eternal Fleet, all of that. Nathma, of course, the original birthplace of Valkorian. It's where he initially got his power, a dead world, a horrible wound in the Force, so to speak. Very unpleasant to visit, and sorry, you're going to have to go.
I'm laughing. I've set a horrible precedent by pointing out the horrible things people have said about Koth, because it just keeps getting better and better, which I'm not even going to read them anymore, but know that you're making me laugh. So, before we get to the surprise, I've seen a couple of people asking, who won the prizes?
Oh yeah, let's get that out there.
So, do you want to read those? Can you see them on my screen? Yeah.
Looks like we've got. I assume they were going for Antilles, but it's Antil VS. We've got Chase 333, presumably an employee of the bank. Zaz, hopefully not the guy from the Batman comics, the brutal murderer. Ileva, nice name, I like that. And Vika Rexton, also very Star Warsy name. I'm liking these.
There you go. So you are the 5 winners of the prizes. It is important, please reach out to the official Star Wars The Old Republic Twitch account. If you don't, presumably Tate will do it as well, but please get in touch with them. Make sure to let us know. He'll tell you all the information you need, but it will be your character that you want it on, your account name, and what server the character's on, and any other stuff that Tate needs. I don't know. He'll tell you what it is. He's the one that ends up doing it.
Can Valen eat Koth alive? Love it.
The thing that made me laugh is someone said, "Can I romance the grave that Koth is in?" I'm like, God, you guys are
so much Koth hate,
you guys
man.
are evil. I love it.
He hasn't seen the things you've seen, man.
Darth Jadis, is he returning?
Ooh. I feel like even if he was, I wouldn't tell you, because Jadis returning has to be a deadly surprise out of nowhere. But
out of nowhere.
No, not currently. But he's a huge favorite, you may not be surprised to learn, of our writing team, so we would love to bring him back if we can.
Yep. And obviously there's many different ways where situations Jadis could be in, depending on what way you
write the agent
story.
That's the really tricky part, right? Because there's a lot of different ways that story could end, so you'd want to be sure you pay that off well.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should talk about the surprise.
Yes.
So should I press the button to show what it is, or do you want to?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
For the speed readers out there.
So I saw someone ask earlier, how has Drew's involvement been with Star Wars: The Old Republic? So do you want to talk about what the short story is?
Yeah. So of course Drew has been on the writing team. He's actually was key to writing the chapters that we're releasing as part of Knights of the Eternal Throne. But he also had a little extra time on the side, so he created a short story that kind of tells a little more of the backstory, a little more of what happened as part of the Betrayed cinematic, especially the battle at the end of it. That's really the focus, kind of what led up to that moment, how did it play out after the, essentially after the cameras left, what was the result, what brought everything together into that moment, and how does that lead into the beginning of Knights of the Eternal Throne. It's really, it kind of helps you establish where this moment was taking place in the storyline, what it meant for these two characters, and what it's going to mean for them going into the Eternal Throne.
Yep. And so I'm saying it's now live because Tate should now have. Tate just told me it's published. Tate, if you want, go ahead and put a link into chat so people can see where it is. It should be right on the front page, so it shouldn't be hard to find. But again, I know a lot of people really like Drew's writing, and this is
such a pleasure.
Yeah, it's really cool to get this cool background on some of the stuff with Senya and Valen. So if you're a fan of the story, highly recommend it. First, go watch the trailer again. I think
for sure.
You start there, then you go read the story, and then go watch the trailer again for just bookend the short story. So anyway, so that's our surprise. So like I said,
there we go. There's the link in chat right now.
Nice, perfect. Okay, so let me just give you a quick recap again of what's coming up. Crazy enough, our expansion early access is in 12 days.
Yeah.
12 days. We are right around the corner.
Soon.
So what that means is next Wednesday, not next Thursday because it's Thanksgiving here in the United States, so we won't be here. So on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a wrap-up. What that means is we're going to kind of do a wrap-up. We're going to do a recap of all things Eternal Throne. It will certainly be me, Charles, and Ben. All three of us will be here just to kind of talk about everything Eternal Throne. So if either you're coming in late or there's anything that you missed in any of the previous streams, we're just going to kind of recap all of it. And then Q&A. Literally anything you want to know about anything about the expansion. By that point, Pretty much a lot of the stuff.
Free game.
Yeah, pretty much all the stuff will be out by then. I do know one of the things that I've seen some people ask unrelated to story is about showing the new ability animations. I'm still working with the guy who makes our animated GIFs and stuff to get them out as soon as we can. So I'm hoping to get those very soon because I do definitely want to show you guys all the work, right?
Yeah.
So also proud of myself, changed it to be Wednesday, so I wasn't saying all the way till next week. But again, and that will be for now. That's the last live stream for Eternal Throne because the week after that. Launch.
Yeah.
This baby's live. And so we'll probably work with some of our influencers to make sure that we have some influencer streams and stuff going after that. Certainly we've talked about that, by January or even hopefully before then maybe we'll be coming on stream to talk about what happens after KOTET.
I know.
What are our plans, right? There's certainly more to come.
Absolutely.
And
there's going to be some cool stuff.
Yep. And so we'll be back to talk about all of that as soon as we can. But I don't know the exact timing for that, but we'll put that schedule out as soon as we can. Any date on the January live stream? Like I said, no, only because it's actually possible it could happen before January.
Yeah.
We're going to try to do that stream as soon as we know that we have a pretty good lock on what things look like.
We don't want to promise specifics until we know that we feel confident about them.
But the second we do, boom.
Coming your way.
You will have those details. I love how many times we'll have asked, can X eat Y alive? That's now become the...
Can Jadis eat everyone alive? Yes.
Absolutely.
In fact, Jadis could do that.
Yeah. Bring back the bad feeling, guys. They nice. Like I said, when we get to Master Uprisings, I want Brian and Chuck back in this seat so that we can all die together because it is going to be glorious tragedy.
Yes.
It will be very good. Charles, this is it. We're 12 minutes over, so hopefully you can still get to your exploding washer.
Yeah, hopefully it has not exploded in the meantime.
Correct. Is there wash going currently? And do you have anything else you want to add before
No,
we
I'm
wrap
just so
this up?
excited for the storyline. Not to rub it in a little, but some of the folks have gotten into early testing and have gotten to see the story, and they've had really positive thoughts, which has made me really excited to see what the rest of y'all think. I can't wait till y'all get to check it out and make some of the really cool choices, see some of the cool consequences, sometimes some very dark consequences, and let us know what you all think of it, because we've just had such a blast creating it, and I can't wait for y'all to check it out.
Yeah, I'm really excited, especially about, one of the things we heard with Code Fee is like, I don't feel like this thing wrapped up. Like, I don't feel like I had closure on this thing, or I just wanted to kill this person. I didn't get a chance. Just...
There you go.
I feel like Knights of the Eternal Throne is the expansion for you. Those things will come to closure, and like Charles said, you can leave a
path of dead,
path of bodies behind you should you choose. So that'd definitely be good. But I guess that's probably gonna be it for us. Like I said, next week, me, Charles, and Ben will be back to wrap this up. Before, like, it is crazy that we are only 12.
I can't believe this year has gone by so
12
fast.
days because we've done this is what, like, our 6th or 7th stream.
Yeah,
I feel like it's been
fun.
Yeah, we've done quite a lot of these. It's been.
We'll just keep doing this every week, even if we have nothing useful to say whatsoever.
Look, and I think the fireplace is a permanent addition.
100%.
Right? We can't. I've been distracted by seeing it behind my own face the whole time. But I'm enjoying #Romance Malgus. I don't.
Does Malgus have kissable lips?
He does have the
it's hard to tell,
the breather, so I feel like chat should debate that as we wrap this stream up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
y'all let us know what you think.
That's gonna be the stream for the day. Thank you guys all as always for joining us. We'll talk to you in 6 days. Tate wants me to remind everybody, if you won, please go check your inbox and respond to him so that you can get your free stuff, because everybody loves free stuff.
Nice.
And that's gonna do it for us.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you guys. We'll see you in 6 days for the next stream.
Bye, guys. See ya.